Hi friends, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Morgan and I am planning my 2021 wedding. One of the most difficult things my fiance and I have found with wedding planning was creating a wedding registry. So we have lived together. By the time we get married, it'll be over 2 years. And in that time, we've basically gotten everything, a couple could need for their home, or so we thought. So we didn't think we were gonna have a wedding registry. And it turns out that's not a very popular thing to do because everybody wants to know where you're registered. People just associate weddings with bringing a wedding gift. And when you're like, oh no, we're not registering, a look of sheer panic comes across the faces of your guests. So we decided to create one, and with some deep digging, we came up with about, I think we have like 30 things on it. And I think there are some good ideas. So if you're struggling to create your wedding registry because you already live with your honey, maybe this video will help you. So we've registered with Amazon just for a few reasons. Basically, it's nice because you can divide gifts up. So if you really want like some bougie $500 gifts, you can divide it so 5 different people can contribute $100 and you're not putting the pressure on your guests to spend a crazy amount of money, which I know to some of you that might not be a crazy amount of money, but for me and for most of my guests that would be. So you can divide it up. Another thing I liked is if I think it's like $500 are contributed to your gifts. So if in total, all of your guests spend $500 on your registry, anything that doesn't get purchased for you, Amazon will give you 20% off. And a little hack we're doing, like the night before our wedding, I've got a list of things I want that I'm adding to our registry that I wouldn't like put on our wedding registry, obviously, because they aren't like wedding registry things, like new sunglasses for myself, as an example. That way I can get 20% off like at the end. So just a little tip there. I divided this video up in categories, so hopefully it's like kind of easy to follow. The first category I've got are things that needed upgraded. So AKA things we already have, but then when you look at it and it's like, oh, okay, this is like a big hodgepodge of mismatched old things that don't necessarily serve their purpose very well anymore. And the first example of that are our pots and pans. Garrett and I were blessed by our older family members, like older cousins, aunts, and uncles, when we both individually moved out on our own, and we got a ton of hand-me-downs, so we didn't have to buy things new. But a lot of these hand-me-downs have seen better days, namely our pots and pans, where like the non-stick is very sticky now, and they're just like scratched up and beat up and not necessarily a joy to cook with. So I have one stainless steel saucepan that I'm crazy about. I cook everything in it, even if it's not like a saucepan item, just because I love cooking with it. So I added like this stainless steel saucepan set to our registry. The next thing we're upgrading is our luggage. I have got a little set of really pretty matching Nicole Miller luggage that has served me well over the years. I used to travel for work many times a year, and my luggage just got beat up. My big suitcase is about to burst at the seams. I would not trust to fly with it anymore in case it like ripped open during transit. So upgrading that's gonna be nice, and I can super glue the seams and give it to my cousin for like road trips or something. I would also caution her not to fly with it, but yeah, don't trust it anymore, so we need to upgrade it. This is the one we added to our registry. Pillows and bedding are another thing you might not think about. So for Christmas, I got Garrett a really nice, like cooling, like nice memory foam pillow. It was $65, which is just, I would have never expected pillows to cost as much as they do. And I have like a really cheap, like $8 pillow from Walmart, and I also have chronic neck pain. So I feel like maybe there's some correlation there. So I added a nice pillow for me because Garrett already has his. And I might add 2 more pillows for our guest bedroom too. That does not get utilized right now thanks to COVID, but hopefully the grass will be greener on the other side of all of this, and we can have people come stay with us and enjoy our bougie pillows. And the same idea with bedding. We've had the same sheets since college, basically. My mom got us flannel sheets for Christmas. I had old flannel sheets with bunnies on them that were very cute, but they were worn to heck, and so are our summer sheets. So added these nice summer sheets to our registry. Okay, so the next category are kind of like bougier items. So Garrett and I, we aren't necessarily frugal, but we aren't people who spend a ton of money on things, if that makes sense. Like, we spend our money on like traveling, and we spend a lot of money on that. So things like this aren't things we'd buy ourselves, but we would love to the moon and back to have because they make our lives better or more convenient, or they're just really fun. So the first thing I added to this category is, let me real fast grab a prop, a boot dryer. So if you love a man who wears big old work boots like every single day, and especially when it's cold and soggy and wet out, you probably are a little familiar with the smell that comes from soggy work boots. I added a boot dryer. I'm actually very excited about that. I think it'll be just more comfy for Garrett anyhow. So it's a 2 birds, 1 stone type thing. this is the little boot dryer. The next thing we added was a Ring doorbell. I work from home 4 days a week. Once a week I go in to shoot, but I'm always home alone, and I'm also a very paranoid person. And I've got 3 animals who make noises and stuff, and I'm always like, is somebody in the house or is that just an animal? So I'm just gonna feel more comfortable with like a Ring doorbell so I can kind of know what's going on. Okay, please don't roast me for how I say this. I promise I'm not stupid. I just don't know this. I don't know if it's HEPA or HEPA, the air filters. Like I said, we have 3 pets, and we also have very allergic friends and family, and I want our house to be comfortable and accommodating when people are over. And we have 1 air filter in the basement because that's like the cat's oasis, but I'd love one for the main floor and the 2nd floor as well. Okay, so a common theme in this video is I have pets. So the next thing is a really nice pet vacuum. But also, if you guys have any advice on the best pet vacuum, we added the Bissell because I feel like that's what everyone hypes up. And then I talked to a friend who has the Bissell, and she's like, no, like the suction power went away like after a month. We got it professionally cleaned and everything, and the suction power is still not great. So if anyone has good recommendations on a pet vacuum, it'd be appreciated. And then the thing I am so excited for, I might actually take off my Registry because I want it like right now, is the Bissell spot cleaner. I have a St. Bernard who like drools the way St. Bernards do, and she's allowed on the upstairs couch. And we have a couch cover for it that I throw in the wash like once a week, but it is a pain in the butt to take the covers off, all of the cushions and then the couch, and then wash it and bring it back up and put it back on. Okay, and then a food processor. Some people might not consider this to be bougie, but I'm talking like a big food processor. We have like the little mini size, which does the job for most things, but I love to watch YouTube videos and like cook along with them. And one thing, they all have these big food processors. I'm like, okay, throw all of your ingredients into the food processor and they can like blitz it all together. Whereas I have to go ingredient by ingredient because mine doesn't hold all the ingredients. So to me, it's kind of bougie. And then the classic KitchenAid mixer, I'm not even gonna go into that. We all know how fancy it is and how wonderful it is. We got my mom one for Christmas a few years ago, and I'm so jealous of her. And every time I'm at their house, I'm like looking at it on the counter like, oh, I wish I had one of those. Okay, this one I think is so cool, and it is a smart trash can. So basically it's a trash can that you can connect to your Alexa and say, hey Alexa, open my trash can, and then it will open. And you probably think, okay, that's ridiculous, who actually needs that? But so many times I've been in the position where I'm cleaning up in the kitchen or cooking, my hands are full, and I go to open our trash can, but my hands are full. And it's like such a first world stupid problem. But if there was a solution to that, like why wouldn't you want that? Finally, a snowblower. This winter, Garrett injured himself and I was in charge of the snow removal, and it introduced me to 2 things. First, I want to move where it doesn't snow, and second, I have very little upper body strength. We don't have an exceptionally large driveway by any means, but by the end of shoveling that, I felt like I had done like a 10-hour workout, and it was rough. Okay, so the next section are things for entertaining. Garrett and I both are huge homebodies. We do not like going places to socialize with people, but we do like socializing with people. We just want them to come to us. And with that in mind, I want to be a wonderful host when we do have people over. I love to have people over and like feed them snacks and make sure they're enjoying themselves. I feel like, I don't know, I just really like it. So hosting items were next. The first thing we added was an outdoor heat lamp. We love having like bonfires, things like that. And in the fall, once the fire is like dwindling down and everyone's like on the deck talking, it gets cold. So a little heat lamp would be nice. And they're actually a lot cheaper than I ever knew. Next is a heavy duty cooler. We have like a little portable cooler, which is good for like 1 or maybe 2 night camping trips. Others have to borrow my dad's. But if we're hanging out with friends out back, it'd be nice just to have a bigger cooler for all of the drinks so people aren't going in and out. That makes me very anxious when we have people over, like the going in and out, because one of my cats, Lemon, is a darter and I just don't want him to escape. So having a cooler outside could help like cut the in and out by half. The next I thought was so cool is a video projector. So you could have movie nights and like project a movie onto your fence or something, or just like hang a sheet in the backyard. So you're having a fire with friends, but you also have like Little Rascals playing, something like that. I think that'd be so fun. And we also added an outdoor patio cooler, which is really cool. It's like a patio table, like just a little round thing. It's basically like the size of this table, whoops. But underneath you can fill it with ice and put drinks in there. So it's just like really nice. You're standing there socializing. Oh, your Sprite's empty? Don't worry, there's one right below you. Okay, yard games. I love yard games. I know some people really don't, but things like bags or like the one with the golf balls, I just think it's nice to have that option if you're having people over. And some people are kind of stir crazy. I'm a stir crazy person. I love sitting and talking until I don't. Like I hit a hard stop and I want to be doing something, so board games are a good option. This is my favorite thing on my registry, this taco bar condiment tray. So if you're having friends over for a little taco night, you can just fill it up with all the taco fixings. I just think it's really cute. Okay, games like Cards to Humanity, Apples to Apples. Garrett and I have a fair amount of games, but I did add a few to our registry. And then a nice cheese platter or charcuterie tray. The final thing I added to our registry were things to complement our hobbies, and our two biggest hobbies are travel and camping. We have other smaller hobbies, but these are the ones we're most passionate about. So I added camping and hiking and traveling supplies. So I added a camping cot. We like to camp basically year round as long as it's not snowing, but the ground is so cold in the winter, even if you have a winter ready sleeping bag. So a cot can get you up off the ground and a little more comfortable. I also added a tent light fan combo to hang from the top of your tent. Next are hiking backpacks. I kind of want to add a baby hiking backpack to it too, like one of the baby carriers, but I also don't want everyone to get ahead of themselves and be like, oh my gosh, baby. So I'll probably add that one day when I'm pregnant to our baby registry. I think people do those before baby showers, but for now, just plain hiking backpacks, but I still might end up adding a baby carrier one just because we do want kids in the future and we don't want them to necessarily slow us down from the things we love to do. National park guides, those are a great idea if you love to travel and you, like us, we kind of want to hit all the national parks in our lifetime, so having the guides for them is kind of neat. And then finally, I added a summer double sleeping bag. We have one of the really thick, warm, 0-degree proof winter ones, but it'd be nice to have one for the summer too. Right now, we usually just lay on our big winter one and then use blankets. The final thing I wanted to talk about was whether or not just having a money fund is appropriate. So I see people ask this all of the time in wedding planning Facebook groups I'm part of, and the debates get heated. Some people are like, yeah, that's totally fine. What's the big deal? And other people are like, it is rude, it is tacky, it's this, and this. I personally fall in the, oh yeah, it's no big deal side of things, but I am guilty of being a giant people pleaser. So I would never want anyone to see that we were doing that and get offended or have their panties twisted over it. So I don't recommend doing that unless you have a thick skin, because it's sure to upset some great Aunt Sally's. And personally, I don't like any sort of conflict. I don't want anyone to think badly of me, and that's a character flaw, I know it is. But so yeah, just something to consider. But you know your guests better than I do. If you have a really chill family and future family and friends, I don't think it's a big deal. But if you have a lot of people coming from the generation born before, I'd say the 60s, they might get offended if you're just asking for money. Not necessarily, I'm stereotyping, but just you know your guests, is what I'm trying to say here. I don't think it's a big deal, some people do. Let me know if I forgot any good ideas, because I'm pretty sure Amazon wants me to add 30 more gifts based on my guest count, and I came up with all of this, and I think these are all good ideas, but I'm drawing a blank for the next 30. So let me know what the coolest thing you added to your registry is, or the coolest wedding gift you got. Any of your thoughts down below. I'll be making more wedding videos because I think it's fun. I've been making all my wedding videos on TikTok, and it's really hard to get my ideas out in 60 seconds. So I like this more long form content. So I'll be back soon with another wedding video. Bye.